He'd initially thought it was a good idea, but never should have. He never thought about the terrible consequences that awaited him as a result of his decision. Authorities searched for him for months after his disappearance. There were fears he had been kidnapped or something worse had happened. He was eventually found, but what he had to say turned out to be far worse than they could have imagined. Wade Steffi was 19 years old, a freshman at Purdue University in Lafayette, Indiana, when this all happened. He had a technical talent and received a full academic scholarship for his studies. Everyone thought he had a bright future ahead of him. He had been filled with frantic excitement about his freshman year at the university. Little did he know at the time that something was going to happen to him after only being there for a few months. It was a Saturday night when Wade Steffi went to a sorority party being held at one of the dorms where his friends lived. The music was pumping and everyone was having a great time drinking. Filled with fun and happiness, no one would have thought that the night would not have a happy ending. They would all be amazed and scared. The later it got, the more people returned to their dormitories. Wade had been the last to leave, according to the party's hosts. Some dormitories were further away than others, so students had to call a taxi. His room wasn't far away, so Wade decided to head back. His friends had left, satisfied that he was in good shape to start the journey. Little did they know that they would regret their judgment. The inquest revealed that Wade was not in the best of shape, as his friends had decided. He was seen stumbling around campus through CCTV footage, apparently intoxicated. As what happened to him on his walk emerged, the footage became more sinister and a grim sight. Wade noticed that he had left his jacket at his friend's dorm. CCTV images showed him on a cold November night, wearing only a t-shirt. His friends later confirmed that Wade's jacket had been left behind and found the next morning. If he just left it for the next day, he would still be fine. Wade made a life-changing decision without knowing it. He turned to get his jacket from his friend's dorm room. On his way, he was hindered. University policy ensured that all dormitories were closed after midnight to those not residing there. Wade had left the keys in his jacket and had no way of getting them back or getting into his own dorm. What should he do? He could easily have called his friends, but unbeknownst to him, he'd lost his phone while walking across campus. It was found days later. He thought he forgot his phone in his jacket, which was still in his friend's dorm. Wade realized he couldn't call for help and started walking around looking for an open door. It took a while before he found anything. There was a building with a side door that seemed to be in irregular use. It seemed to lead to a lower level of the building like the basement. The entrance was enclosed with metal grills that acted as a barrier to deter university residents. Wade wasn't deterred. Wade climbed over the metal bars and dropped in front of the door. He found it was open after procrastinating and went in, thinking he could get his jacket and phone. He had no idea what awaited him around the corner. He disappeared without a trace. For the next 2 months, Wade was nowhere to be found. His friends saw his jacket in the dormitories the morning after he disappeared. They tried to call him, but no one answered the phone. The following week, his phone was found in an alley on campus. The police soon intervened. The first thing they checked was the surveillance cameras that were set up around the campus. After considering that night's footage, they came to a disturbing conclusion. The footage didn't answer the question of what had become of Wade. He could be seen wandering the main campus pathways, but eventually slipped out of the camera's field of view, never to be seen again. Everyone feared the worst. It was 2 months before anyone found out that Wade's fate had been even grimmer than even the rest of speculations. On Monday morning, a maintenance worker walked past the same door Wade had opened and walked through 2 months earlier. He reported hearing a ping noise from the other side. He knew what this room was. It was the electric vault of the dormitory. It contained some huge transformers designed to convert the high voltage they received from the main power grid to lower voltage usable for the dormitories. But he noticed something new about the room. A strange smell was seeping into its atmosphere. It didn't take him long to figure out where that smell was coming from. Wade Steffi's body was sandwiched between 2 transformers. He immediately called the authorities. A few hours later, a team of investigators and a coroner examined the body. They found Wade entering there, in his daze thinking he would get to the rooms by walking between the transformers. He made it for a few yards, but something terrible happened. Wade appeared to gain entry and was accidentally electrocuted while attempting to navigate the room. Assistant Medical Examiner Martin of Old said. Because of the tension involved, he would have lost his life immediately. But that door should have been closed. So even after Wade's disappearance was solved, one question remained: who opened it and why? To protect the privacy of those depicted, some names, locations, and identifiers have been changed and are the product of the author's imagination. Any resemblance to actual events or places, or persons living or dead, is purely coincidental.